That we found out that Blake Lively's team, according to her attorney, is actually planning to file an amended complaint in their lawsuit against Justin Baldoni and others. According to her attorney, Michael Gottlieb, that is going to include new claims from Blake Lively, and they're going to be bringing this lawsuit against new defendants. Parties, of course, meeting for the first time in court today. It was about a 90-minute hearing.
The same tactic that they're doing over and over again of trying to manipulate the courts to get what they want.
What if everything you thought you knew about Blake Lively's legal battle was a lie? In a shocking twist, her team just got caught in a web of deception that could cost her everything. As the courtroom drama unfolds, Blake's own friends and family are being dragged into the chaos, facing public betrayals, buried secrets, and a financial blow that could destroy their Hollywood careers. You won't believe what's happening behind the scenes. And trust me, this is just the beginning. Keep watching to uncover the jaw-dropping truth that no one saw coming. Despite already being granted an extension by Judge Lyman until February 14th, Valentine's Day of all days, Blake's legal team returned asking for yet another delay, this time pushing the deadline to March 5th. It seems they weren't satisfied with the extra time they'd already been given, but Judge Lyman wasn't buying it. After all, this was the same legal tactic that Blake's team had been employing repeatedly, attempting to manipulate the court to get what they wanted. But this time, the judge wasn't so easily swayed. Why the sudden urgency for more time? The answer was shocking. They wanted to bring in additional witnesses, including actress Jenny Slate, who had once stood by Blake's side in support. At first, it seemed like a game changer. Jenny Slate, known for her role alongside Justin Baldoni in The Good Place, had previously issued a powerful statement of support for Blake, condemning the baseless attacks on her reputation. In fact, Jenny's public show of loyalty seemed to be one of the strongest defenses Blake could have had in this fight. Blake is a leader, a loyal friend, and a trusted source of emotional support for so many of us, Jenny had said in an impassioned statement. It seemed like a perfect foundation for the case, right? But when it came time for Jenny to step up and testify, something completely unexpected happened. In a move that shocked not only Blake's team, but the entire courtroom, Jenny reportedly distanced herself from the case, denying any direct involvement and backing away from her previous statements. This sudden shift in Jenny's position left many wondering, was she coerced, or was there something deeper at play? Blake's team wasn't ready to let this slip by without a fight. They tried to subpoena Jenny, believing that her experiences with Baldoni could strengthen their argument. However, it seemed as though this tactic was backfiring. Speculation ran rampant that this was just a strategy to involve more women in the case, trying to create the illusion of broader legitimacy for Blake's claim. But when this approach fell flat, Blake's team had no choice but to ask for yet another extension, one that was quickly met with skepticism. What was even more jaw-dropping, though, was what came next. When Judge Lyman asked why they needed more time, Blake's legal team scrambled to come up with a justification. Their explanation was complicated, even convoluted, claiming that they needed extra time to add new defendants and witnesses to the lawsuit. One of the new names on the list was Jed Wallace, whose company, Street Relations, had recently filed a separate lawsuit in a Texas federal court that allegedly overlapped with Blake's case. At first glance, it sounded like a reasonable request, but as always in these high-stakes legal battles, nothing was as it seemed. Justin Baldoni's team, however, was ready for the fight. Brian Friedman, Baldoni's lawyer, came prepared with receipts, literal documentation that revealed Blake's team had refused to grant an extension to Baldoni's lawyers back in January during the devastating LA wildfires. While Baldoni's team had faced a legitimate crisis, Blake's team had refused to show any flexibility. But now, Blake's team wanted extra time, and the hypocrisy wasn't lost on Friedman. He laid it out plainly. If Blake's team is granted an extension, then we'll need one too, he declared. It was a simple, fair demand, and Baldoni's legal team was adamant that if Blake got what she wanted, so would they. Fair's fair, after all. The courtroom tension was palpable as both sides prepared for what could be a much longer battle. But just when it seemed like things couldn't get any more intense, Friedman dropped a bombshell. He exposed a major misrepresentation from Blake's side, one that sent shockwaves through the courtroom. For weeks, Blake's team had been trying to paint Jed Wallace as the reason for the delays in the case, claiming that his separate legal action in Texas was holding things up. But Friedman wasn't having it. He pulled out documentation proving that it was actually Blake Lively who had filed the legal action against Wallace first, back on January 21st, 2 full weeks before Wallace even filed his suit. The silence in the courtroom was deafening as the truth came to light. It was a stunning moment, revealing the layers of strategy, manipulation, and secrecy behind the legal drama that's been playing out. Blake's legal team had tried to frame Wallace's lawsuit as the cause for the delay, but it was clear now that they had been the ones to initiate the legal battle in Texas all along. This was a major misstep that could have far-reaching consequences for Blake's case. But just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse for Blake, they absolutely did. Remember how her legal team tried to gag Brian Friedman from speaking to the media? That plan backfired spectacularly. The court ruled against it, which meant that Friedman was free to continue sharing details about the case to the public. This was a crushing blow for Blake's side. Imagine trying to silence your opponent only to have the court give him a megaphone to amplify his every word. Friedman didn't miss the opportunity. He continued to expose the inconvenient truths Blake's team wanted buried, making sure that the world could follow every twist and turn of this legal battle. And then, as if this weren't enough, Justin Baldoni's legal team launched a full-scale digital assault. Over the weekend, they unveiled a website dedicated to the case, complete with an amended legal complaint, a detailed 168-page timeline of events, and bombshell, never-before-seen text messages allegedly exchanged between Blake and Baldoni. This wasn't just a website, it was an open public repository of evidence, receipts, footage, and communications, everything laid out for the world to scrutinize. Blake's side had tried to keep the case behind closed doors, but now the details were out in the open, available for anyone to see. The court of public opinion was now in full swing, and it was clear that this battle wasn't just being fought in the courtroom anymore. To make matters worse, Blake's husband, Ryan Reynolds, was pulled deeper into the controversy. One of the leaked texts from Ryan to Baldoni showed his enthusiasm for the film It Ends With Us, with Ryan reportedly telling Justin, "This is going to be incredible. I happen to adore you, Justin." While it may have been an innocent, supportive message at the time, given the current lawsuit, it now carried an entirely different, more complicated weight. This wasn't just about Blake anymore. Ryan's involvement raised the stakes even higher, making it clear that this was becoming a family affair in the worst possible way. Blake's legal team, already facing setbacks on multiple fronts, scrambled to have the website taken down, arguing that Justin Baldoni's team should not be allowed to publicly release such evidence. But, once again, the court rejected their plea. The judge pointed out that Blake's team had already taken their battle to the public by feeding stories to major outlets, like the New York Times, in an attempt to frame the narrative in their favor. If Blake's side was willing to play in the public arena, they couldn't turn around and demand that Justin's team be silenced now that they were fighting back. The court's ruling was a hard blow, leaving Blake's legal team with few options left to regain control of the situation. At this point, it's impossible to ignore the sheer gravity of what's at stake. A loss in this lawsuit wouldn't just hurt Blake Lively. It could lead to a financial disaster for both her and Ryan Reynolds. A potential $400 million is on the line, a number so staggering that it could change the course of their entire careers. Endorsements, future projects, and even their personal investments could all be at risk. What started as a legal dispute is now shaping up to be a fight for their financial stability and future in Hollywood. With each passing day, the reality of Blake's situation becomes clearer. This case is slipping further out of her control, and her legal team is starting to buckle under the pressure. The question now isn't just whether Blake will lose, it's how much more her team can handle before they completely crack. Will they find a way to turn things around? Or is this the beginning of the end for their battle? With every new piece of evidence, every court ruling, and every strategic misfire, the odds seem to stack higher against them. What do you think will happen next? Will Blake's team manage to turn the tide, or are they on the brink of losing it all? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this unfolding Hollywood saga. You won't want to miss what comes next.